the final shloka of the entire SRIMAD BHAGAVAD GITA. You would expect the last shloka of this ultimate scripture to be a bit heavier and more elaborate, wouldn't you? Well, despite seeming simple to some people, this shloka, as a matter of fact, contains Sanjaya's grand suggestion on living a blessed, prosperous, blissful and fulfilling life, no matter what. Sanjaya, the one who witnessed the scene through his divya-drishti, or the ability of remote viewing through time, and heard the entire conversation, gives his final opinion, which can be called the ultimate principle of ideal living. Krishna is the most supreme teacher, and Arjuna the perfectly disciplined, sincere, fearless, respectable, noble, socially responsible, and eager to learn devout pupil. Do you remember Shloka 207 of video 15 of 100, which was the turning point in Arjuna's thought process? It is the shloka in which Arjuna mentally admitted to his confused and despondent state of mind and positioned himself as a humble pupil of Krishna and asked him to be taught what was good for him. Just before he took this life-changing step, he did what almost everyone does, to justify one's inaction and procrastination and try to make it look as if they were refraining from acting because they cared for the world. When you're in trouble or in any kind of challenging situation, the first thing you would need to realize is that since you're directly affected by the issue, your emotions must be highly active, and they surely have the power to cloud your intelligence. Therefore, before you seek someone's counsel, first admit to the fact that your intellect is not at its best, and hence it is only someone who is not affected by the problem you are facing who can give it an unbiased and balanced thought and be able to help you. What would happen otherwise is that instead of allowing your counsel to analyze the faults that you could potentially have and find a solution, you might begin arguing, defending yourself, or even turning upset with the person who has kindly agreed to help you. In the first chapter, when Arjuna sees all his near and dear ones lined up on the opposite side, he felt totally depressed, dejected, and despondent. Just imagine an educated, fearless, well-trained, and highly knowledgeable warrior king like Arjuna stands on the battlefield and gets goose flesh and experiences weak knees. That's what happens to people who are overcome by emotions. Another thing, you might have come across people of organized religions and others who call themselves skeptics, agnostics, atheists, or whatever, making ridiculous allegations that the SRIMAD BHAGAVAD GITA teaches people to fight their own relatives and teachers. Well, to begin with, you are not responsible for the stupidity of other people. The crucial fact to bear in mind while studying Vedantic scriptures is that they are all metaphors. Each and every character in the Mahabharata has been well thought of and carefully created by sage Vedavyasa. Those who take the characters and the whole story in the literal sense have lost the whole purpose with which the great sage wrote the timeless scripture. The near and dear ones that the Pandavas fight in the battle are the numerous vices and negative tendencies of a person. Yudhishthira, the eldest of the Pandavas, is a gambler, and he gambles with dangerous vices represented by the Kauravas, only to lose everything he and his brothers had. Remember, in Shloka 1133, video 48 of 100, in which Krishna says to Arjuna the following: "Therefore, get up and attain glory, conquer your enemies and enjoy a prosperous kingdom. All these warriors have already been destroyed by me. You are merely an instrument, O Arjuna, the ambidextrous one." Which enemies, represented by the Kauravas, do you think Krishna meant? The Kauravas are the ones that thrive in the minds of those who have not mastered the art of managing their mind. What does Krishna mean by saying, all these warriors have already been destroyed by me, you are merely an instrument? He means that the negative tendencies, which are abstract, have no foundation and are in fact as good as dead. What makes them seem alive is an uncontrolled and untrained mind that is mostly in delusion. Therefore, rising above duality and ignorance and acquiring true knowledge can overpower and annihilate all negative thoughts, tendencies, and vices that can be harmful to oneself and to the others around them. Those who do not see the symbolism in the SRIMAD BHAGAVAD GITA and in the Mahabharata are missing out on the phenomenal opportunity and possibility to evolve spiritually and are headed unknowingly towards total intellectual blindness that can end in a miserable, painful, or scary departure from one's sojourn as a human being on the planet. The vices and other unwanted tendencies are definitely not easy to win over, and therefore one requires the help of the inner voice, the intellect, and the divine light, or the Krishna within everyone, to achieve this difficult objective. But more important is a sincere, committed, noble, and devoted pupil, or the Arjuna, in everybody. Without a person's willingness, readiness, and the desire to learn, even the greatest teacher would not be able to help. Unfortunately, a devotee's exaggerated bhakti usually crosses the line and enters duality, thereby permanently distancing him or her from the path towards self-realization, which is the highest goal. I'd like you to go through the chariot analogy which was taught to Nachiketa in the Gitopadesha by none other than the just Yamadharmaraja. Arjuna, the owner of the chariot, the self, Krishna or Brahman in everybody. Krishna, the charioteer, the intellect, the inner voice and divine light within. The chariot, the physical body. The horses, the five senses. The reins, the mind. The path, the material world one lives in. Now, even after this course, if you are still going to treat Krishna as a separate person, pour bovine milk meant for little calves on Krishna's vigrahas, and expect to please him so that you can get all your wishes fulfilled, you should know that by doing so, you would be disrespecting him and also yourself. Remember that Arjuna never asked Krishna for any special favors, but only requested the Supreme Teacher to teach him what was good for him. Whatever you do, first ask yourself why you're doing it. Do it only if you can convince yourself rationally. No matter how pious you believe your actions are, if you anticipate a reward or anything in return, you are going against one of Krishna's main teachings, which is to work without attachment to the outcome. There is no thing as blind belief or utter obedience anywhere in Krishna's teachings. If you truly wish to serve Krishna, hold yourself back from pouring milk on his vigrahas or trying to bribe him with expensive gifts. Instead, do your work with utmost devotion and fulfill your duties to the best of your abilities. Be socially responsible, respect and protect women and children, care for animals, and above all, revere nature. Please go to bit.ly/tvmgita and read Shlokas 320, 325, 525, 1155, 1327 and 1820. Always keep in mind Shloka 1327 or 1328 in some editions. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vinashyatsva vinashyantam yah pashyati sapashyati. The person who truly sees is the one who sees the Supreme Soul or Supreme Bhagavan existing equally in all beings, the unperishing within the perishing. Read the SRIMAD BHAGAVAD GITA at least twice and always keep a copy of the scripture with you. After reading it twice, you may read random chapters and start familiarizing yourself with the flow of the different yogas in the Supreme Scripture. However, to begin with, I would suggest you my book, Capture the Essence SRIMAD BHAGAVAD GITA, both in the e-book as well as in the paper book forms. They're available on Amazon and on Flipkart. There is one more video to go, video 101. The bonus video summarizes the SRIMAD BHAGAVAD GITA, provides some basics on Vedanta, and gives tips on how to live a fearless and fulfilling life no matter what. Life is beautiful and too wonderful to be wasted on useless rituals which are the result of neglecting the deep symbolism in Vedantic scriptures but taking them too literally, which can only result in duality, the lack of self-confidence, an attitude of subservience, and extreme vulnerability to sects, cults, and foreign religions that are fundamentally systems meant for mass enslavement. Be a sincere and devoted Arjuna, and you can be absolutely sure of the permanent presence of Krishna, who will constantly guide and support you through your own intellect. Shloka 1878. Yatra yogesh-varaha krishNo, yatra paartho dhanur-dharaha, tatra shreer-vijayo bhootir, dhruvaa neetir-matir-mama. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of yoga, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there is bound to be prosperity, happiness, victory, and righteousness. This is my opinion. Yatra yogesh-varaha krishNo, yatra paartho dhanur-dharaha, tatra shreer-vijayo bhootir, dhruvaa neetir-matir-mama. Yatra yogesh-varaha krishNo, yatra paartho dhanur-dharaha, tatra shreer-vijayo bhootir, dhruvaa neetir-matir-mama. Yatra yogesh-varaha krishNo, yatra paartho dhanur-dharaha, tatra shreer-vijayo bhootir, dhruvaa neetir-matir-mama. जहां योगेश्वर कृष्ण तथा परम धनुर्धर अर्जुन है, वहां निश्चित रूप से समृद्धि, सौभाग्य, विजय एवं नीति का वास है, ऐसा मेरा मत है. யோகேஸ்வரரான கிருஷ்ணரும் மிகச்சிறந்த வில்லாளியான அர்ஜுனனும் இருக்கும் இடத்தில் கண்டிப்பாக செழிப்பும் நல்ல அதிர்ஷ்டமும் வெற்றியும் மற்றும் நிலைத்த நீதியும் இருக்கும். இது என்னுடைய கொள்கை. ఎక్కడ యోగేశ్వరుడైన కృష్ణుడు మరియు అత్యున్నత విలుకాడైన అర్జునుడు ఉంటారో అక్కడ సకల ఐశ్వర్యము, శ్రేయస్సు, విజయము మరియు ధర్మము ఉంటాయి. ఇది నా ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯము. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಯೋಗೇಶ್ವರನಾದ ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣನಿದ್ದಾನೋ ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮಹಾಧನುರ್ಧಾರಿಯಾದ ಅರ್ಜುನನಿದ್ದಾನೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪರಿಮಿತ ಸಂಪತ್ತು, ಯಶಸ್ಸು ಮತ್ತು ಶಾಶ್ವತವಾದ ನೀತಿಯು ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗಿಯೂ ಇರುತ್ತದೆ. ಇದು ನನ್ನ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ. जिथे योगेश्वर कृष्ण आणि परम धनुर्धर अर्जुन आहे, तिथे समृद्धी, सौभाग्य, विजय आणि नीती यांचा निवास नक्कीच आहे, असे माझे मत आहे. യോഗേശ്വരനായ കൃഷ്ണനും ധനുർധാരിയായ അർജുനനും ഉള്ളിടത്ത് ഐശ്വര്യവും ഭാഗ്യവും വിജയവും ശാശ്വത നീതിയും ഉറപ്പാണ്. ഇതാണ് എന്റെ അഭിപ്രായം. ഓം തത്സദിതി. श्रीमद् भगवद गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुन संवादे मोक्षसंन्यासयोगो नाम 18 हरि ओम तत्सत्। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम शांति शांति।